Hi there, welcome to iTWireTV. Today we're joined by EXL Chief Digital Officer, Andy Logani. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining me.
David, it's my pleasure. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. So, Andy, I guess, first of all, can you tell us what EXL does?
Sure, David. EXL is a data and AI-led company. What that essentially means is we always look at the client situations, opportunities, and problem with the data and the AI lens. And we bring domain expertise. So we are very strong in chosen verticals like insurance, banking, healthcare, retail, utilities, and some other verticals. And what we have been able to create, or the magic we've been able to create, is combine the data, bring the AI knowledge with our industry knowledge, and really deliver outcomes at speed. From a vertical perspective, as I mentioned, we serve a few chosen verticals, as mentioned before, and then we bring the data and AI. At a company level, we are give or take $1.6 billion in revenue, listed on NASDAQ. So a very responsible and an ethical company that has been in the business for over 25 years.
That's fantastic. No, I appreciate that. And I understand EXL over its time has changed. So you talked about your data and analytics-led company, but I understand EXL started life as operational support. Is that correct? And I guess what led to that pivot from operational support to the data and analytics that you've spoken about?
Sure. David, what's been interesting about the journey here, and I've been here 23 years.
Wow.
Over the last 23 years, what we have been able to do, we were actually, like you said, a business process outsourcing company way back. And over the years, we've made significant pivots. So from a business process operations company, we saw the trends very early and embedded analytics into the business. So that brought us the process expertise and the analytics expertise. Then over the years, we made another pivot and started embedding digital in the business because we started to realize that for us to deliver meaningful outcomes to our clients, it'll be important to bring digital capabilities. Then we became a data-led company almost, let's say, 3 years back. And that actually was a complete opportunity to reinvent our clients' businesses. And by infusing data and looking at the problem of the data, we realized that a significant portion of companies' transformation benefits are not realized unless you really look at the data problem. Companies will always look at process. Companies will look at opportunities to improve their throughput. Company will look at opportunities to bring technology, but they would at times miss the opportunity to look at it from the lens of data. And we actually started to see that 60 to 70% of transformations were failing exactly because of that reason. Wow. And most recently, we have now made this data and AI-led pivot. And we see a tremendous potential with artificial intelligence. And we believe this is going to be a significant game changer for our clients. And therefore, we have made this data and AI-led pivot. Here's the interesting thing, David. Every time we've made this pivot, it has taken us a fewer years for every subsequent pivot. So the first pivot probably happened after 5 years, then after 4 years, then 3 years, and 2 years. So the speed of change is only getting accelerated. But every time we do this, we are able to increase our growth rates. We are able to increase the value that we are adding to our clients. And we are able to really deliver those outcomes at speed. So we are very, very excited about this journey. And it just feels we are getting started. There's a lot ahead of us.
That's wonderful. No, I appreciate that. And, data analytics is so topical at the moment. And in fact, this year, we're expecting a huge amount of Australian businesses to implement AI. And so, it's very timely that we're talking. I guess what advice and recommendations would you have how Australian businesses could sustainably and responsibly adopt generative AI, the big topic right now?
Sure. So, David, I think there are 3 questions in that. So I'll address them one by one. One just as a company, we believe that AI brings a tremendous potential. In fact, 4 years back, we started to invest heavily in artificial intelligence. With technology, there are always choices, and we did not invest as heavily in metaverse, or we did not invest as heavily in .NET, because we believe that the potential of AI is tremendous. So over these years, three-fourths of our employee base, our colleagues, have been trained on different varied degrees of artificial intelligence competencies, some from experts to managers to executives, and there are different levels of programs. So we've been doing a lot of investments in this. Two, EXL also made significant investments in actually setting up a artificial intelligence R&D center. We wanted to get at the cutting edge of it. So today we have deployed almost 50 different AI-led initiatives, most recently with generative AI as well, almost 15 to 16 implementations, and there are 30 additional that are in proof of concept stage. So everything I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you with a position of strength. It's not like from PowerPoints or just reading from material, it's actual working experience. So one, to your first question, the opportunity is immense and the potential ahead for our clients is significant.
Yes.
That being said, a lot of companies are struggling to actually deploy this at scale. Look, experimentation and deploying one use case or two use cases is different. But when you start to think about this at a scale, there are several things that companies are missing out. And I'll just, from our experience, I'll just quickly say 3 or 4 things, and then I'll get to your last questions about responsible AI. One, we believe companies look at this generative AI or AI, and it's like a hammer chasing the nail. Hey, we want to deploy artificial intelligence and we want to experiment with something. Well, it's actually the other way around. What outcome are you trying to deliver? What value are you delivering for the customer? And then you actually work backwards. That's number one. Number two, there is a few things that come together for this magic to happen. Number one, the industry knowledge is not trivial. Number two, if you do not get your data organized and get the right data management in place, you'll not be able to get the benefits, because wrong data is going to lead to bad results and wrong interpretations. So you need to make sure that you understand the end-to-end data management and ensure that you have thought through your data. Number three, artificial intelligence has a lot of sophisticated techniques. So you have to make sure that you're spending time upfront to think through your structure, think through the appropriate technique, whether you're going to use vector databases, whether you're going to use retrieval augmented generation, or whether you're going to use knowledge graphs, and how you're going to really use that to deliver the outcomes. And we are seeing that sometimes clients are in a hurry to implement, and they forget to think about the design upfront. And then lastly, it takes engineering to bring together. And I always remind our clients, at the end of the day, this is to deliver outcomes and deliver value. It's not just to use the tools for the sake of using the tools. And that's some of those learnings are really helping our clients, and we are able to put this into production. So with an Australian insurer, we are actually now setting up a complete center of competency for them. 3 of our solutions are already live with them, and they are thinking about taking this at scale. So we deployed a claim solution. We deployed a GPT solution for them. We have deployed a massive search solution for them, for employees to get effective at their work. And now they're going to scale it at an enterprise level, and EXL is their partner of choice to deliver that. So that's just as an example of what we are doing.
Yeah,
now, coming back to your third question, David, which is, look, I think you have to take this very responsibly and ensure that you put the right guardrails. And I'll state a few things which are very important. One, as I've mentioned, look, it's revolutionary.
Yes.
But it can have its own faults and it can have its own issues. And therefore, it's essential to be upfront about its potential. But also, let's be mindful for the errors, the biases, and the misuses that can happen. And therefore, it's important to set that communication, let people know about the guardrails, because that builds a trust and that sets the realistic expectations. And this is the big responsibility of the executive team. The clients that we are working with, the CEO is directly involved with us in making sure that we do this in the right manner. Look, bias is a continuous challenge with this. So we have to always think about the proactive bias mitigation. That's a cornerstone of responsible AI. And this requires diverse data sets, continuous model monitoring, and ongoing adjustment for fairness. I can't emphasize enough how critical that is.
Oh.
This is another very important guiding principle that I'm about to state. We believe human and AI, perfect collaboration makes generative AI more powerful. It is not a response. It's not a replacement. So at all times, David, we recommend having human in the loop.
Yes.
See, the models are initially going to perform at lower accuracy, and you're going to keep improving. So we thankfully now, in many places, are operating at 90 to 93% model accuracy, because the outcomes are very, very important, right? And therefore, this part becomes very important, the marriage between the human and the AI. The fourth point I'll mention is data privacy is actually the foundation of trust.
Right.
And therefore, the transparent data collection, robust privacy safeguards are crucial. Sometimes clients are asked, hey, what do you think about the regulations? And we tell them, sure, you follow the regulations, but make sure you have your own guardrails, you have your own standards, using closed loop data, making sure the access is available to right people, make sure you have appropriate model monitoring, right? Now, this includes a lot of other things. Informed consent, secure handling, minimizing the use of personal identifiable information. So in many cases, David, we generate synthetic data, which mimics the real data, but we do not use PII in building these models for the clients. I mean, as long as it's avoidable and doing the right thing for the customer.
Yes.
Now, embedding privacy in this AI lifecycle is critical. For example, redaction of PHI as an example, or PII, or any other sensitive information. What we are always thinking about is we put things like differential privacy, role-based access, and controls. So
Yes.
I said a lot of things, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that you have to think through all of these. Let me take this part around the sustainability. See, the environmental impact of large language models cannot be ignored. And we should address this by always prioritizing energy efficient algorithms, which we advise our clients. We always explore renewable energy options. And we are sort of considering carbon offsets, right? Now, the other thing is, look, not all use cases requires large language model. So let's be very, very deliberate about what LLM you want to use for what type of use case. I'll just give you a quick example. We were working on another legal case, and we deployed autonomous agents. We developed two different personas. One persona is of a, let's say, a paralegal, and one persona is of a senior attorney.
Yes.
Both these personas are different. One requires a lighter LLM, one you require a more sophisticated or a heavier LLM. And then secondly, with one, you can use simple retrieval. With the other, you need complex knowledge graphs to be established, right? So the right type of technique, the right type of LLM also becomes important, because at the end of the day, let's not ignore the environmental impact of using these large language models. So I think this addresses a few things. Now, I will also say that, look, there are lots of things on hardware. And companies are being very prudent about it. We are partners with hyperscalers, working very actively with NVIDIA, making sure that we get the right and specialized hardware. For example, language process units raise interesting possibilities in terms of, for example, GPUs excel in general purpose parallel processing, and LPUs are specifically designed for the sequential nature of language processing, right? So hardware, guardrails, privacy standards, data, you have to think through all of these in orchestrating this. It's kind of a long answer to your question, but I hope it addresses the things you're looking for.
It does. No, I appreciate that, Andy. That's been very comprehensive. And it shows that there's a lot of things that people can't just say, hey, I'm just going to build an AI solution and just have at it. There's obviously a lot of things to think through, which I suppose then leads to the sort of the opposite question. So you talked about how can you do AI sustainably and responsibly? I suppose coming from a different direction, and if businesses don't implement Gen A responsibly, what could be the consequences of not listening to all the things you've just said and just going gung ho?
Yeah, look, oh, no, absolutely, David. See, one, like I said, the potential of this thing is such tremendous, but the responsibility towards our customers, responsibility towards our other stakeholders, cannot be taken lightly. And this could have, really detrimental effects in many ways. You could introduce biases. You could introduce uh, wrong interpretations. LLMs, by nature, are incented to give you answers. If you don't do it responsibly, you can lead to wrong answers, wrong outcomes. You don't get the data right. You could expose your customer PII, PHI inadvertently without even realizing that you are sort of about to do wrong things. And the environmental impact, like I talked about, is also tremendous. So we are always very mindful upfront with our clients. What's the right use case and what are you trying to deliver? Don't just take this for the sake of, oh my God, this is magical. I just worked on GPT and I want to come and implement it. You believe it or not, David, in many cases, we actually tell our clients this is not the right use case to pick today.
Right.
Maybe you pick this use case later because for all the reasons that we talked about, because the outcomes that you're trying to deliver at the levels of accuracy you want, this will take some time, and this is not the right use case for what you're trying to do. And therefore, that advice is very crucial. And I don't want to overcomplicate it, but this upfront thinking and the design is very critical. Like, how are you going to stitch this whole thing together? And then for experimentation to scaling is a journey, and therefore you need partners to help you. Lastly, also, David, look, the talent on this. Thankfully, we started investing very early. We invested in data company 20 years back. We acquired an analytics company. 7 years back, we acquired another data management company. Then we acquired a company that had expertise in handling external data. Then we acquired a company that is experts in cloud engineering, data architecture, data management. Then we invested significantly in AI. So this is not a switch that just happens overnight. This is 20 years of things that you've done as building blocks. And then with the industry expertise, you bring this all together, the magic is bound to happen.
Yes, wonderful. No, Andy, that's been awesome. I've really appreciated the insights. And at the beginning, you said, I'm not going to, what I'm going to talk to you about, it's not from a PowerPoint, it's from experience. I could absolutely hear the experience and the depths of knowledge and obviously you and your team have done a lot of work on this. You've experienced pitfalls, you've thought about things. So no, definitely, I appreciate the both your time and the amount of insight you can give. And I suppose if we have listeners or readers who are, enjoyed what you've been saying and want to get in contact with EXL, what would be the best way to speak to you or your team?
Sure, absolutely, David. Media relations team can always arrange that. You can go to our website and there are media relations contact, and we are very happy to share our perspective. Because look, as a community, we are responsible to do this in a right manner and in the manner that it makes the most benefit to the society. And then therefore, collectively, we should sort of embrace it, but embrace it in the right manner. Because I'll tell you, David, I'm already seeing tremendous potential, and I am just telling you that we are getting started. This is a real game changer and feels so different than any other disruptive trend that I've seen, at least in my lifespan of the 23 years of career that I've spent with EXL. So this definitely feels different, That's something with immense potential.
Yeah, that's wonderful. No, well, thank you so much. That's been Andy Logani, Chief Digital Officer for EXL. Thank you so much, Andy, for your time.
Thank you, David, for your time, and I really enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you.